And one of the big questions we have to ask recently of just what's been going on with Elon Musk is with all this stuff that he's doing, all this controversy that he's caused, telling advertisers to go do one is not the best strategy, especially when you're. And I feel so sorry for Urina Yukano, who he's specifically brought on to try and bring back advertisers. I mean, I do not know why she tried to defend Elon saying, go screw yourselves, advertisers, because if Twitter dies, it's not my fault, it's your fault in like the court of public opinion, and somehow there's going to be this big backlash against like these companies that pulled out of their advertising. There really is not. It's not going to be the end of the world, to be honest, if Twitter dies, because people are moving on. People are moving on to different platforms. People already moved on almost immediately. You saw people look at Mastodon, Blue Sky. There's now Threads. Threads has increased dramatically in the past couple of weeks because of the stuff Elon's been pulling. But you have to really ask, what's the end game? What is the point? If you scare off all these advertisers, which, bear in mind, it took Twitter a long time to be able to get to the point where advertisers would trust the platform and advertise on it. That's a very, very big thing to do for platforms to build up trust. And all that's now gone. And if you remember during that interview, the interviewer was saying, well, okay, if you want Twitter to become like this financial platform, how are people going to trust you, handing over personal sensitive information and even their money to look after? Elon didn't have an answer for that. He just, hoped, said hello to Bob Iger, because obviously Disney's now pulled out of advertising on Twitter as well, just recently, as well as many others did. But what's the end game? That's the big question I want to know. And I think it's the big question others, I think, are now speculating about. So we're going to cover this because I think this is the first article I've really seen talking about what is Elon's end game. And this comes from Slate with the title of "Twitter is worth more to Elon Musk, dead than alive." And this, of course, comes in the wake of this, of his, shall we say, meltdown. But I think it's an interesting article and asks some interesting questions, because what is the end game for Musk? And what is the end game going to be for Twitter? Well, we'll find out. And we'll probably, again, speculate and gaze into the crystal ball of what Elon Musk might be doing with it. So, as always, before we do continue with this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can all buy me coffee. There is, of course, the YouTube Patreon page as well down below, and of course the YouTube thank you button as well, and the Pony Club as well. So let's get on into this, coming from Slate. So, what does Elon Musk want with Twitter? It depends when you ask. That's very true. Very, very true indeed after reading this. By the way, I still recommend highly this book. It's very, very good and gives you a really good timeline as well. So after Musk first made an effort to buy the company in spring of 2022, he seemed as if he just wanted to have a little fun and make his fans clap for him. He tweeted, "Love me tender," as he pondered or wanted to look like that he was pondering. And he tended to offer for control of the company. And when the process escalated, Musk offered exactly $54.20 per share, because 420 of course is a marijuana joke. He was having fun. And later in the acquisition process, Musk was not having fun. Oh, indeed he wasn't, because remember, he tried to pull out of this deal. He tried to get out of it. He tried all sorts of things, saying that Twitter was actually full of bots. And it would have been hilarious had they got to court if we tried to pull out of it and then the court said, no, actually, you've now got to buy the company. That would have been another hilarious twist and turn in this, but we'll see. Um, so, and of course, what was it that he wanted with Twitter? Well, nothing. He wanted to kill his deal. He wanted to kick it, and he screamed in the legal sense. But in the long run, he had to close. And of course, in October of 2022, when Musk's Twitter takeover finally went through, what did he want with it? A sensible answer at that moment was what was Musk wanted to salvage from his $44 billion investment property. Musk acknowledged that he had far overpaid for the company. Yes, Musk had said that he didn't care about the economics at all and that buying Twitter was a matter for his, quote, ideological commitment to free speech. But by the closing time, he'd been sounding a very different truth for a few months. He'd published an open letter to advertisers in which he noted the need for some content moderation and that he said he wanted to make Twitter the most respected ad platform in the world. He told the bankers who gave him huge loans, which he then saddled Twitter with, that he would not help them market the debt to investors. Musk had put more dip on his chip than he meant to. And he eventually realized that this erratic behavior at Twitter reflected poorly on his leadership of Tesla. That in turn dragged down Tesla's stock price, at least for a while. What did Musk want with Twitter then from them? Question mark, a business. And that's the big question. This is one of the other things that I think people have started looking at now. Because is Musk's ownership, as being the head of Tesla, is that turning out to be a good thing? We've just had the whole Cybertruck launch, apparently. I think it was this weekend, or it might have been last weekend where this launched. In many places, certainly through Europe, they are denying Cybertruck because it's still not proven to be reliably safe. There's been a lot of examples where it has run people over and caused accidents in its trial testing that Musk has tried to cover up. So there's still a lot of stuff and questions around regarding the Cybertruck being asked. It's, from what we've also seen, not going to be even profitable for quite some time. But because of the whole Twitter fiasco, I think there's a lot of people in Tesla now asking questions. Is Elon Musk actually the right guy to lead Tesla, to lead many of these other companies? It certainly seems that way. That those questions might now being asked. I don't think he's comfortable with those questions being asked. So, where does this all end up going? So, what does Musk want with Twitter right now? The likeliest answer has changed again. Once sign came 2 weeks ago when Musk offered an unqualified endorsement of an anti-Semitic post that coupled with a Media Matters report that showed that blue chip advertiser spots were running next to posts containing Nazi agripop, sent some of those advertisers then fleeing from the platform. And it was not possible for businesses to benefit from Musk's tweeting his approval at some random person's anti-Semitism. But he did it anyway. And there were no possible business benefits to Musk sitting on the stage of the New York Times Delhi Book Summit on Wednesday, telling advertisers to go fuck yourselves. But there he was anyway. And this is it. I mean, this is the quote down here. If someone is going to try and blackmail me with advertising and blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. It's not a good business strategy to tell advertisers, which, bear in mind, 90% of Twitter's revenue is from advertisers. What does it signal? What does it signal? Because I'll tell you now, most of those advertisers, they ain't going to come back. They ain't going to come back at all. And like I say, Threads, Mark Zuckerberg rubbing his hands with glee at the prospect of all the advertising money that they now used to spend on Twitter now rolling in, possibly into Facebook, Instagram, and of course Threads eventually when that advertising section sorts itself out. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes online not too soon in the too distant future. But it continues. I hope they stop, Musk said. Don't advertise. He said advertisers were trying to blackmail him with the money and suggested that they fuck themselves. He repeated it, and slowly. Is that clear? He even said sarcastically hello to the Disney CEO Bob Iger, whose company has quietly pulled back its Twitter spending, and asked if he was in the audience. Musk then said that advertisers who left Twitter would cause the company to go under, and that it would show the world what it was those advertisers' fault that the company of which he'd recently renamed X had not survived. This is the reality. Musk would be a hero or something. And that was this kind of bizarre complex. I think a lot of people pointed out in that. I myself even found that quite odd when Musk was saying, we'll prove that it wasn't, me who killed Twitter. It was all these advertisers. Well, all these advertisers are doing is pulling their money out of a business they don't really believe in, that they cannot trust as a platform. This does not prove you to be a hero in any way, shape, or form if your entire business goes under. And to be honest, even though Musk could probably finance Twitter for some time, this is not going to be the same platform as it used to be. Like I say, other platforms have now clearly emerged, and other people are moving to them in increasing numbers. And things like this, the whole Media Matters thing, has not helped it. Everyone who uses X now or Twitter still said it's got an even worse place than it even used to be. And of course, this is causing people to use the platform less and less and less. And when it's behind the Samsung clock app in usage, you've got a problem. You've got a serious problem. So the past 2 weeks have made clear the new answer to that age-old question. The agonizing of the old advertisers points in the exact same direction that Musk's boring endorsement of anti-Semitism pointed. He is no longer interested in salvaging Twitter as a business. As a financial investment, he has taken 44 billion, mostly his and his bank's money, with a few billion coming from investors, and just lit it on fire. Musk will never make Twitter worth anything near what he paid for it. But can he use it to make himself a, quote, free speech martyr and recast his own business failures as an ideological stand against censorship? That today is what he wants with Twitter. Take Musk seriously when he threatens. If that is the word that advertisers will kill Twitter, he might just like that just fine. A 44 billion investment is obviously a big one to write down to zero. But Musk is most of the way there already. In October, the company valued itself at just 19 billion. Think about that. He paid $44 billion for it, and it's now valued at 19 billion. That is a shocking drop in all of these. So Musk pays a lot of taxes. And if his entire investment goes up in smoke at some point, his accountants will have a lovely time finding him a vomit-inducing amount of tax savings. But there are bigger financial reasons for Musk not to care that if he must, he will finish what he started and just let Twitter die altogether. An early constant of his behavior was the intent connectedness of all of Musk's businesses. In those early months of his Twitter bid, the ownership and his shtick did not play well with Tesla's shareholders. A lot of Tesla's very high stock price revolves around confidence in Musk's ability to innovate and sell. And Musk's floundering around Twitter was not good for Tesla's stock price. The stock is the main source of Musk's wealth, and over a year ago, cursing it out on Twitter advertisers could have cost him hundreds of millions of dollars in just a blink of an eye. But as I type these words now, Tesla stock is on the up, and about half a percentage point after an hours of trading, just after Musk took to the stage to tell after markets had closed on Wednesday. At this point, Musk's obvious failure at Twitter seems to priced into his Tesla shares. If he lets Twitter sinks any further into abyss, will it change anyone's opinion on his ability to run Tesla? That's a very valid question, as we said already. Maybe not, but maybe it would work in Musk's favor. Saying, look how distracted I was, he could say. Now his full focus, or not quite full focus, because Musk has a lot of companies, but at least more of his focus can be on the big publicly traded company. Enough to lift Tesla's share price that could easily mitigate Musk's Twitter losses. Again, this is the kind of absurd wealth that we were talking about. You know, Musk can spend $44 billion to purchase something like Twitter, just completely ruin it, get absolutely nothing out of it, come out with a ton of, tax breaks because his entire investment failed, and still be perfectly fine because, you know, his Twitter is not, well, his Tesla stock might go up. Again, just goes to show the amount of ridiculous wealth this man has. So the money, of course, wouldn't be the point anyway. Running Twitter does seem like miserable work for every man. So he clearly loves to be at the center of attention every second of the day. And many people ask Musk things all the time. Some people might even ask him to stop talking, which couldn't be easy. He'd have a much easier life if he just let the company die. Maybe he could sell it off. Maybe he's going to take a loss on a trade that would look like a retreat, because ceding the future of free speech to someone else who cares about it less than Musk does, because no person cares about free speech more than Musk does. So what does Elon Musk want with Twitter? The best available guess is that he wants it to fade to black. Musk won't have won't have to do much work, and his other businesses might benefit. More importantly, it's his way out of Twitter on something close enough on his own terms. Musk will have no trouble getting the right-wing media and other credulous individuals to treat him like a soldier in a just war. The one-time star and journalist, currently agonizer of the Liberals, Glenn Greenwald, wrote on Wednesday of Musk advertiser said this. This is exactly what people should tell corporate advertisers who try to control the content of speech from media outlets or social media platforms. Greenwald doesn't have to explain why not subsidizing speech with ad dollars is the same thing as trying to control it. And of course, Musk doesn't have to comfort himself to justify himself to his adoring fans. And at a $44 billion price tag, it will be the most expensive point anyone has ever made. But Musk will make it to people who desperately want to hear it. I agree with that 100%. I think that's the real end game in all this. Musk has effectively bought Twitter in order to essentially play the free speech champion card. Other than that, I really do believe that. I think that is the whole point of this. And whether it affects his leadership of Tesla, maybe there are people at Tesla going, do we really want Musk to be leading this company anymore? I don't know. After the whole Twitter fallout, questions might be asked. And you've got Yarina Yukhanova, who I feel most sorry for, because I will tell you, I will make a prediction right now. After Twitter fails, Musk will blame her. I have absolutely 100% predicting that Musk will blame her, because she was brought in to get advertisers back on the platform. How can she get advertisers back on the platform when the person who owns it is telling advertisers to go fuck themselves? There comes a point where you've just got to wonder. She's probably just sitting back and just counting her paycheck every month, and you know, and I hope she has somewhere in a contract a good severance pay just in case it does all go belly up. Um, but I tell you now, she's going to take the blame. Musk's going to put all the blame on her. He's going to come out and say it wasn't my fault. It was the advertisers, and it was her fault because she didn't bring the advertisers back on board. They couldn't get, she couldn't get the advertisers back on board with my vision. I generally think that's what's going to happen. I think, and I've said this before. I am waiting. I am waiting wholeheartedly for the Twitter documentary. When it is all said and done, I can predict there will be probably a few documentaries about the downfall of Twitter, and we'll get a lot of insiders now. And the other big group of people, by the way, I feel sorry for the people still working at Twitter, because honestly, reading, breaking Twitter, you can tell from some of the people that Ben speaks to in this book, they really do care. Like, they really do care about working at Twitter. They think it's a good company. And those that are left now after, well, Musk's mass firing, they are real diehards. And I feel sorry for them because eventually Twitter is going to go under. And I feel sorry for them because a lot of those people that are still there are the real diehards who do still believe in Twitter that it can somehow be saved, whether they hope that Musk sells it to someone else. Although, to be honest, as they said in the article, I don't think he will, because Musk wants to be the one who cares most about freedom of speech, and if Musk sells it to someone else, then clearly Musk did not care that much about freedom of speech. Yeah, and I think we'll use the same words that the article closed out. It's going to be the most expensive point ever made. So, as always, Twitter is a continuing downward spiral. For how much longer it lasts, I couldn't say, but long live Twitter, as they say. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.